Good evening, folks. This is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Erik Proseus, and we're doing it again this week, a video blog for another potential winter storm moving into the area for Friday. We made it through Monday's event. A lot of kids out of school for a few days to start off the week. A fair amount of ice around. In fact, a little bit more sleet than we expected out of that one, but it was kind of sandwiched in between some freezing rain early morning and early afternoon on Monday, and starting to recover from that finally. Roads are in good shape, and now we're going to have to talk about another potential winter storm. This one a little bit different scenario, a little different setup, and it certainly is going to have a different end result, but we'll spend a few minutes here talking through it. So this is going to cover mainly the period during the day on Friday. So we'll start off by taking a look at the surface map that we're looking at for tomorrow, and basically what we've got here is low pressure out over the central and southern plains, and that low pressure system, as opposed to the one that Monday that moved across North Mississippi and North Alabama and kept us on the cold side of that system the entire time. This one's going to be a little bit different in that low pressure is actually going to pass by to our north on the day Saturday, but we do have an area out ahead of it, out ahead of this warm front, where we'll be getting what's called overrunning precipitation. In other words, we have moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico over the top of cold air down near the surface, and so that moist air, warm air, is going to be riding up over the top of this trough that's right through here, and basically producing precipitation as it rises. And since we obviously have cold air still in place around the area, then any precipitation that falls through that cold air is going to become a winter precipitation event. So once again, in this case, also expecting that we will probably see a mainly freezing rain event as far as the winter precipitation is concerned. I want to flip over and take a look at one of the models that we're looking at, and I'm going to use the GFS model, the American model that I think seems to be doing the best job right now with handling this particular event. And we'll go up through the first frame here, zoomed in on the Memphis Metro. So here's Shelby County, Memphis, right in the middle. And we're looking at 6 a.m. Friday morning. And so when you wake up tomorrow morning, don't expect to see the radar covered in precipitation. It's not going to get started quite that early. Now, we could see a few little light sleet or perhaps a few snow showers that early in the morning, but they will be light and very sporadic. Really don't expect too many problems at all on your drive if you're going in to work tomorrow. Don't expect too many problems early in the morning. But you do see some hints of that starting to show up off to the west over here, where we've got a little bit of sleet showers that are showing up. Now, as we get towards midday, however, this is the noon time frame, and you see the precipitation has kind of blossomed over the area. The red line that's running right through here is the freezing line. That is 32 degrees, so everything to the north of that is below freezing. You see right ahead of that 32-degree line, or just north of it, is where the freezing rain is expected. It shows, this model shows us in a sleet event. I think sleet at noon tomorrow will be mixing with freezing rain, and instead of the little spotty showers we might see earlier tomorrow morning, as we get into the day, I expect to see a little bit more precipitation, more showery weather around, and that will just increase as we go through the afternoon. Any snow at that point is going to be confined to areas up around northwest Tennessee into western Kentucky, so that's well to the north where it's colder all the way through the atmosphere. Down in this area, once again, like Monday, we're dealing with a warm nose of precipitation in the lower to mid levels of the atmosphere that's going to change that precipitation over to ice before it hits the ground. But at any case, about noon tomorrow, we're expecting a mix of freezing rain and perhaps some sleet as well. Now, as we go through the afternoon, this is going into the 6 p.m. time frame, and you see at 6 p.m. that this 32-degree line is basically right across the Memphis metro area. It's bisecting the area right along Shelby County. Now, this could be off certainly by an hour or two either way, but basically the trend is that warm air is near the surface is pushing up on strong southerly winds coming into the area, basically a warm front that's cutting right through. And so just ahead of that 32-degree line, just north of it, freezing rain, and right behind it obviously will be in just plain rain. This is when I expect by mid to late afternoon, I expect to see the precipitation rates kick up a little bit. I think we'll start to see steadier precipitation, and with the changeover not occurring from freezing rain to rain until at least late afternoon, probably at least after 3 or 4 o'clock for our southern counties down to Tunica and Tate counties probably around that time frame, late afternoon. Right along the heart of the metro, probably around rush hour tomorrow evening is about when we'll get up to 32 to 33 degrees, and we'll see that transition over to rain. For those of you up to the north, Tipton County, Lauderdale County, and up towards the Jackson area, it's going to be a couple hours later than that. Probably after dark, early evening, 7, 8 o'clock, something like that is what we're thinking right now for you guys to switch over from freezing rain to rain. But it does look like we're going to be dealing with some freezing rain, especially during the afternoon hours. We'll talk about amounts here in a minute, but I think that that could be enough to cause some accumulation to occur, and I do expect the roads to be more difficult to travel by afternoon rush hour, certainly, than we'll see during the morning rush hour. So again, the time frame we're concerned about the most is going to be the afternoon hours into the very early evening tomorrow night. Now, as we step through this just a little bit farther, this is midnight on Friday night, and you notice all of it is pretty much changed over to rain. There is some fairly stronger periods or heavier showers that will be moving through the area, I think, overnight, and that's going to continue. And you notice this the black lines in here are the pressure pattern, and so the wind is blowing parallel to those lines. So we have a pretty good strong southerly wind. The closer these lines are together, the more wind that we can expect. And so pretty good strong southerly flow overnight. I think tomorrow evening around 6 o'clock, when we hit that 32-degree point, we're going to be climbing temperature-wise overnight. You notice the 35-degree line is up just north of the Tennessee Kentucky line, and so we're going to be rising into the 40s actually during the overnight hours on Friday night. As we head into Saturday, we're going to be looking for a wet day during the day Saturday. Looks rainy. It looks like we could see a little bit of thunder around, perhaps even, as the low pressure system that we were looking at a little bit ago passes way off to the northwest here. It's going to be going up through Missouri, puts us in the warm sector of the system, and so we'll definitely be seeing quite a bit of rain during the day Saturday. Now that's going to all come to an end overnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning. That is the picture as of Sunday morning, and you'll notice that that 32-degree line has dipped back to our south as the cold front moves through the area. The precipitation moves off to the east. I think by sometime during Sunday morning, if not early Sunday morning, the precipitation should come to an end as that freezing line moves back. I don't know if we're going to get all the way down to freezing. This might be a little bit aggressive. Not sure we're going to get all the way down to freezing by early Sunday morning, but if we do, we could see this precipitation event taper off with just a little bit of either freezing drizzle or snow flurries Sunday morning. So that is what the weekend is looking like according to this model. I'm going to show you now what we're expecting frozen precipitation wise. There is a winter storm warning in effect for all of West Tennessee, northeast Arkansas, and the Missouri Boot Heel, and a winter weather advisory for east central Arkansas into northern Mississippi. So the dividing line again is the Tennessee-Mississippi line, and that is based strictly on the amount of precipitation expected. So in the winter storm warning area, including Memphis and Shelby County, we're expecting a ½ inch or less of snow and sleet, and that would be primarily during the morning hours up to around lunchtime or so tomorrow, Friday. And then during the afternoon hours, up to ~1/4 inch of freezing rain. And now the latest models that are coming in are actually indicating that that might be a little bit higher than that. We're going to hope that that does not occur. Up until this point, until the last run of models I looked at, the amounts were actually between about 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch. The newest data is showing us it could be a little bit more than that, and especially if that freezing line is a little bit slower to move in here tomorrow evening, we will have more precipitation falling into 32, 31 degree air, and that will be as freezing rain. So right now, I think ~1/4 inch is a pretty good estimate for the amount of freezing rain we're expecting. South of the Tennessee-Mississippi line, little to no snow or sleet, and less than ~1/4 inch of freezing rain. So that is what is expected across our southern metro counties. Now, as far as the impacts felt from ~1/4 inch of freezing rain, that is going to cause problems with driving. It will cause some hazardous conditions on bridges and overpasses especially. I think it could also, if it comes down heavy enough, especially mid to late afternoon, I think it could also start to affect the secondary roadways pretty well, and perhaps some of the primary roads. It also is going to leave a pretty good coating on trees and power lines, and we are expecting to see a little bit more wind with this event as well. So that might be a little bit of a concern. Some sporadic power outages, especially in areas, I'll say north of Shelby County, where I think there's a better chance that they'll see ~1/4 inch of freezing rain or a little bit more more. So Tipton County, Lauderdale County, you folks over towards Jackson, if you're listening, those areas are probably a little bit more prone to the possibility of some sporadic power outages. But the good news in all of this is that as we rise in temperatures overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning, all of that ice and accumulation that has occurred, I expect to see a lot of melting, and especially as we go into the day Saturday. We'll look at temperatures in a minute. But it looks like we will definitely have some warm enough air to do a lot of really good melting. So hopefully this is a fairly short-lived event. I would say tomorrow evening, if you have plans to get out, we're going to see temperatures still in the low to mid 30s, and there won't be a whole lot of melting that goes on during the evening, but during the overnight, things should improve. As far as precipitation totals for this event, I showed you all the rain on Saturday. It looks like this is a very, very wet system coming through. So once that freezing rain ends, we'll see rain Friday night, all day Saturday, and maybe a good part of Saturday night as well. This is the NAM model, and I think actually on total precipitation, this one seems to have a pretty good handle on things, and it is showing the areas north of the Tennessee-Mississippi line in the 2-inch to maybe 2.5 inches of rain during that entire period. A little bit less down to the south, but I expect to see widespread 1 to 2 inch readings by the time we get to Sunday morning, and some spots are going to see in the neighborhood of 2.5 to 3 inches. That puts us in a slight risk as well for the possibility of some flash flooding, particularly across West Tennessee. We're going to want to keep a close eye on that as well. So as far as the forecast is concerned for the next 6 days, here's what we've got. And for tomorrow then, we're looking at a mix of precipitation in the morning and then a more steady light to moderate freezing rain event during the afternoon. The low tomorrow morning is going to be 21, and it's going to rise all day, and we should see probably upper 20s by around noontime. 33 for a high, and that is your 6 p.m. temperature here in Memphis. That's what I've got it at right now. Could be a degree either way, but 33 should be about the high for the afternoon hours. And then you see the low Friday night is 33 as well, and that is because the temperatures will be rising during the overnight hours on Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll see wake-up temperatures Saturday morning in the 40s, and during the afternoon, as we get warm sectored ahead of this low-pressure system, we're going to see temperatures climb into the mid-50s with rain during the day on Saturday. That system moves through, cold front moves through on Saturday night. Temperatures drop down to around 34 is what I've got right now for a low on Sunday morning, and remain in the 30s all day. Winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Those wind chills are going to be dropping down back into the 20s and maybe the upper teens on Sunday. So it's going to feel somewhere around 30 to 40 degrees colder on Sunday than it does on Saturday afternoon. And then, unfortunately, it looks like we've got cold air sticking around into next week. So conditions generally improve going into excuse me, into the middle part of next week as far as getting some sun and so forth, but it does look like temperatures will remain cold, lower 20s for the lows, and this is in the city, and mid to upper 30s, around 40 for highs. And not shown here, but this cold air does stick around through maybe a good part of next week, and we're going to be watching a couple of more weather systems. This may not be our last one as we head towards the 1st of March. So that's an idea of what we're expecting. Hopefully you can make your plans around that accordingly. We do not know how school systems will handle this. That's going to be up to them. A lot of them may make their decision tomorrow morning, pending any last-minute updates to the forecast, especially when we don't have a lot of precipitation around on the radar tomorrow morning when it's time to make that decision. But that'll be up to them. I know a few districts have already let out some of the more rural districts that really fully haven't recovered from Monday yet. So that's up to them. Road conditions should be fine in the morning, but will deteriorate through the afternoon. If you're planning to go to work, it'd be a good idea if you can do so to get out a little bit early and to get home and get off of those roads before about mid-afternoon. So that's all we've got for tonight. I encourage you to continue following us throughout the next 24 hours and throughout the weekend. In fact, we're always here for you at MemphisWeather.net on Facebook, MemphisWeather1 on Twitter. Follow our website, download our apps. We will provide the information through those as well, and you can certainly get your winter storm watches and warnings and all of the, as we enter the spring season, certainly all of the watches and warnings through Stormwatch Plus that's available in the MemphisWeather.net apps for Android and iPhone. Everyone have a safe day tomorrow. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.